going to say that it is within you all to bring that change that we all want. Quite often, we all try and say it's someone else's responsibility. But you're here today, and the Parliament has given us this room, and you're the first change makers that we are bringing in this room. So please, just before I call my first key speaker, please give yourself a round of applause for being here. I'm now going to start off the program, and I'm going to ask the first person who will speak to us is from Malawi, and her name is Gertrude Chirambo. She's the councillor, and give her a round of applause as she comes in.
Thank you. As Juliet has said, I'm based in Blantyre, Malawi, as a councillor in Blantyre City Central. Before I came into politics, I used to live in the United Kingdom in London, and my last job was I was working as Executive Assistant to Director of Public Affairs at the Commonwealth Secretariat. So then I had lived in the UK for 12 years, and when I traveled to Malawi on holiday, I discovered that there are a lot of issues, and people were suffering in just simple things that would take a little initiative to make a change. So I took up a step of faith and decided to participate in the general elections. And I did my campaign for 28 days, and thank God I made it. And now my priority is to improve the education structure and also the infrastructure in my ward. I'll just give you an overview as regards to education in Malawi. We have a great need, and as far as education is concerned, because when students finish secondary school education, we have like over 10,000 that qualify to go to university, and only 1,000 plus make it to university, leaving the rest to find education elsewhere in private universities, colleges, or vocational schools. So we have a lot of youth that are just idle, doing nothing, and without support in and not participating in the economic development of the country. Yet the youth consist of 60% of our population. And coming down to Blantyre, where I come from, we have, on primary school education, we have a national reading program where the government has introduced that, just introduced that for children in grade 1 and 4 should be able to read and write. So that is one of our success stories that we are embarking on now. The teachers are being trained how to deliver the program so that the next generation, at least we have children that can read and write. Because previously we have cases like even people completing secondary education but not being able to read and write. Now, the main challenges in Blantyre, we have very little desks, few desks, a lot of students, they sit on the floor. Like in my ward, we have only one school. The school was initially meant to cater for 850 learners, but we have 3,000. And in a class, we have about 100 to 150 people sitting on the floor from grade 1 to grade 5. So we have people in grade 6 to 8 who have access to desks. The other issue in my ward is to do with school blocks. We need additional school blocks, and we need to establish a library. So this is just to give you a picture of what's on the ground. This is in the Marima ward, but it applies to most schools in Malawi. And I'm talking of Blantyre City Central. My ward is in Blantyre City Central. And imagine what is the need out there in the rural areas. Since I went, I've been able to construct a footbridge with the help of friends from US and here. And we had a big setback that the bridge upon completion was pulled down because of political reasons. And I said I was not going to come back to UK. I sourced more funds and we put up the bridge again, and it's now standing. And over 5,000 people and young schoolgirls have access to that bridge, because during rainy season it's difficult for them to cross over the river, and they have to walk like 50 minutes to go on the other side of the river. But now, because of that just small initiative, they are able to cross over, cutting back 40 minutes of walking time. On infrastructure development, Blantyre City, we have 3 main projects that we want to complete within the next 2 years. We want to construct a modern bus terminal, and the cost is about $2 million US. And we want to improve our sewerage. The cost is about $7 million. And due to increase of cars on the road, we want to increase our car parking space in Blantyre City Centre, 300 spaces, and it's going to cost about $2 million. So that is what are we doing as a city council? Well, in Blantyre City Council, we are putting back, rehabilitating street lighting in most of our streets, and we are improving the infrastructure. So every year we have 14 kilometers of asphalt surfacing, because most roads are earthen roads. So like this year they're going to put more tarmac road, about 14 kilometers within Blantyre. And in my ward, they're embarking on a street lighting program. So we have 2 roads that we are going to have street lighting. Okay, in closing, what can the diaspora do to help in achievement of quality education, access to quality education, and also building resilient infrastructure? Well, we are asking the diaspora, maybe they know someone or investors that can come to Africa to invest and to partner with us, public-private partnership, to partner with us in implementation of these projects, so that we can improve our infrastructure. Because as government, they have limited resources and the need is so great. So we are asking for the diaspora to connect us with investors that can bring in this much needed infrastructure. And also for well-wishers, whether from Malawi, Africa, or UK, to come in, they can come in and join us to improve the quality of education, whether it means buying a desk, or construction of a school block, or decorating a library, or sending books. I'm sure these are the issues that most of the African countries are facing, but I'm just giving you a snapshot of Malawi.
Now, education is very vital. It's a vital human right enshrined in our Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the United Nations Convention of the Rights of the Child. Every girl and every boy should have the right to a quality education, so that they can have more chances in life, including employment opportunities, better health, and also to participate in the political process. Now, to increase access and retention in education to the millions of Kenyan children that were not able to access education, the government of Kenya introduced free primary education in the year 2003 and free day secondary education in the year 2008. Now, this has greatly improved access to the primary education, and also has greatly increased the transition from primary to secondary. We are almost at 100%, and that is where the Ministry of Education is working to get to by the year 2018. Now, we still have pockets of poverty in Kenya with a low transition. These ones include the areas in northern Kenya and also the famous Maasais who are fond of early marriages. But we are very happy that we have seen a great improvement. Now the government is investing heavily in education because it is the surest way to reduce poverty, boost economic growth and increase income. And education promotes gender equality and reduces early marriages and has also promoted peace in our country. Now this will focus on the skills and values that are required by the country to develop as we move towards the achievement of Vision 2030. Now the third thing that the country is focusing on are values. We are living in a world where values are not really enshrined in or are not inculcated in our youth. And values of integrity, accountability, responsibility, transparency that will introduce young people to more positive relations in the future. Developing curiosity in the minds of the students is the key to engendering lifelong learning and an attitude of mind that is able to cope with change whilst passing the inevitable examinations. Now, ladies and gentlemen, education is very critical, and the future of any nation belongs to the youth. And the real wealth of a nation is not the natural resources, but it is actually the resource of the youth. That is the way I would like to conclude it. That we need to think more about the education of our children, and that is the way to develop Africa, UK, and the world beyond. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
The other conferences organized by financial organizations at the World Bank, IMF, African Development Bank. All these conferences have common aims: to improve the health and education in Africa, to eradicate poverty and hunger, to create a sustainable development for Africa, to maintain African cities and enable them to accommodate the teeming African population, to combat the effects of climate change, flood, drought, hitting Africa badly every day. How far have these aims succeeded in Africa? The truth is that they've not succeeded. But the standard of living in Africa is still below expectations. The level of education in Africa is still very low. The industrial sector in Africa is extremely poor. Africa still depends on local agriculture. When I mean local agriculture, I mean subsistence farming. You want to use hoe and cutlass in Africa. There's lack of industrial facilities in Africa. There are so many ills affecting Africa in spite of all these conferences. That brings me back to my topic, Africa and the blame strategy. Who is to blame? Who should be held accountable for all these wars affecting Africa? In Africa, our leaders will tell us the white man is responsible. They will tell us the Western world is responsible. They will tell us our colonial masters are responsible. Fine, they will always find blame. They won't blame themselves, won't they? They won't. They will never blame themselves. But the truth is that the colonial masters, what are they? Colonize Africa? We know how we are living before they came to Africa. African countries are not the only countries that are colonized. Canada was colonized. South Korea was colonized. America was colonized. I mean, United States of America. Brazil was colonized. And saying root, getting out of the family of underdeveloped countries. So who is actually to blame? The African leaders and we, the African people. Our leaders are extremely dubious and corrupt. In African countries, embezzlement is the order of the day, particularly in Nigeria. We now see what happens in South Africa. They create an environment that scares away foreign investors. They will leave power. They create civil strikes everywhere, creating civil wars. They will not create an environment for business to thrive in Africa. They will not create an environment for our women to contribute towards the economic, social, and political development of Africa. So who is to blame? They should take lion's share of the blame. And of course, we Africans too. We sell our votes and elect people based on their own ethnic origin. We elect leaders because they belong to the same religion with us. We don't elect them on the level of competence. So we are partly to blame. We don't like to invest. We don't like to save for the rainy day. We believe in a barbaric culture that tells us that the wealth of a man is measured by the number of wives and children he has. That's Africa. We don't like to send our children to schools. Our girls are meant to produce children and cook at home. Like our president said, women belong to the kitchen, to the other room. I don't know what is the other room. So we just have to be very sincere with ourselves. I want us to wake up today and embark on a journey of self-realization. So only when we try to invest, we will try to encourage our women to participate in the economic development of Africa. When this United Kingdom, if all the women in the United Kingdom go on strike for one day, or let me say for 1 month, the British economy will collapse. But in Africa, it will not make any impact. So, when we embark on this journey, on self-realization, that the president of Africa getting out of the family of underdeveloped countries in the world will not be far-fetched. But if we don't, this program is aimed at making Africa to develop in 2030 will be an illusion. So Africans, let's get up and take the challenges to rebuild our fatherland. Thank you.
I never stopped praying for Juliet when she told me that I'll be here to speak, because I want to speak my mind in the angle of family. As she rightly said, I'm Kemi Onodipe, and I'm passionate about relationships, marriages, and families. And what I'm about to say goes to all Africans. So it's not about Nigeria, I'm from Nigeria, but it concerns all of us. I'm here to speak from the family angle. Many of the African couples we see in diaspora either got married back home before coming here, or got here and found themselves and got married. But in the long run, there is no difference, because the entire family is used to the set system, abroad, and no one really wants to go back home. No one wants to go back to Africa. No one wants to invest, back. It becomes a struggle. Most couples do not agree on what and how to go about it. It's really, really very important that we think about it, because we've seen marriages, there are many cases of marriages of 25, 30 years breaking just because the man is ready to go back home to retire to where he originally come from, and the wife refused to, with the children. Do you want to say there is no love? There is love. The wife is just thinking of the children who are British, who were born here, they've never been to Africa, and the system they are used to. And the woman is thinking, I would rather stay back and take care of these children. And the man is saying, it's time to go home. Many marriages, whether we agree or not, have broken, just because one person is ready to go back, and 7 out of 10 really, really do not agree. So of course, children are always on the side of the parent who remains, because they are British in their mind. They do not see themselves as Africans in any way. and their parents are not helping the situation by what they say about their country. Many of those children they have never been to their parents' country before because they seldom go home. Most families here in diaspora have been blessed so much, including me, having acquired so many skills and knowledge, enjoy the facilities and infrastructures. They have invested so much, we have invested a lot in our children and are used to a working system that even many of them have become stars in their various fields. You agree with me that we have children that we have invested so much in, and they are doing well in various fields. I think God has given us this privilege for some of us to be able to take giant steps and use all that we know to impact our countries and Africa as a whole. The wonderful man that spoke before me, I love what he said. But what I want to add to it is we need to do it. We are not going to wait for anybody. We need to rise up. Why are family members divided? Number one, they are divided because of the past unpleasant experiences and losses whenever they try to go back home. They are divided because there is a gap in information that they get about Africa. African countries are developing. Truly, African countries are developing more slowly. Because definitely our country, they are not as bad as we left it many years back. Fear of living certainty for uncertainty. Many of us believe that leaving this place and going back to Africa, that fear of the future, what could go wrong? Those are the things that make most of us who have been blessed to remain here. What are the steps we need to take? What are we, because this is a call for action. This is not just another gathering. We need to do something. And one of the things I've written here is that we need family-oriented programs that will make the whole family see Africa in a positive light and give accurate information about growth. We need to know and they have done, the two councillors have actually given us the good news about Malawi and Kenya. That's what we need. We need to know what is going on back home so that there won't be gap in information and we won't be talking about what happened 20 years ago when we left. Accessible and practical platforms that show a hopeful Africa should be created where all concerns are addressed. There should be a well-packaged educational platform where we support one another on decisions made in order to strengthen the home front for those who choose to leave or remain. Africans in diaspora are needed back home, and I'm of the opinion that our government should place a huge value on the bunch of talents of African parents and youth in the diaspora. When the government is able to see how much change we can bring to our countries, they would create a good platform ready for us in diaspora. A platform that will encourage easy transition and relocation, security on lives and properties, our family, and every other necessary things that will make us adapt more easily and comfortably. In conclusion, today, let us reflect on this. By 2030, many of us would have been close to retirement, if not retired. Let us include Africa in our plans. Let us set goals that will ultimately bless Africa. Of what advantage is us coming here, enjoy all these privileges, acquire all these skills, and allow it to end here? I think it is not fair on our countries, as we are the hope of Africa. Thank you very much for this time. Thank you for being a wonderful audience.
Let it be one of the things that we're going to look back within ourselves. Let us forget about this African time. There's nothing like African time. So that is very, very important. And I must say, well done, Gertrude, because it shows that we here, whatever skill that we have learned, that we can take it back. She has taken it back. She stayed 12 years here, and she didn't care about regular light, food or whatever, everything, you went there to help your people. And you were allowed, that's number one. Because some countries, you will not be allowed. So you are very lucky. Malawi is very lucky. They are utilizing. They are skilled people that have gone out and come back to them. And I wish Nigeria can learn in that way. Because Nigeria has got 36 states. And out of 36 states, not even one single female governor. And yet we've got a lot of skilled women. And if you look at it, things like Rwanda. Rwanda has got 64% of women in their legislatures. No wonder Rwanda is moving forward. So let us see and look back. Let us hope that other countries in Africa will look back and say, let us utilize our women that have been out there and learn so much and are prepared to give up and give more. And you, well done to you, because you've done a great job. And I hope that, as you said, let other mothers, sisters, aunties, and everything learn and do what you're doing. Because with that, then women can continue to inspire. And obviously, education is number one. Number one, education for girls. Because when you educate a man, you educate one. When you educate a woman, you educate the whole world. And that is very, very important. And I must say, where we're all here, everybody has said everything. But women, you're not in politics. Where are African women in politics? How many of you are in politics here? So look at the number of women and look at the number of hands that are up. Why are we not in it? Politics is not just politics. It's leadership. It's where you can actually learn and help. You don't have to be a politician to be in politics. You understand? But you learn, because when you're inside, you learn. And once you learn, you're able to deliver. And you're able to be part of it. For example, any of you school governors here? And we talk about our children being excommunicated from school, being, so forth. How do you know? What do you know about school governors? What do the school governors do? School governors are inside it. Because if you're inside, you'll be able to participate and you'll be able to understand the system. But if you're outside, you're not going to be able to do it. Now we are sitting outside and we're talking about Africans are not helped, Africans are not doing this and not doing that. We have to do it ourselves. So I'm urging you today, please, can you all get into politics and be part of politics? Because politicians are the ones that actually rule all of you. Everything is politics in life. Your religion, your home, your health, your environment, everything is politics. So why do we have to shine away from politics? So on this note, I would say, I have two hearts. I'm a politician. I'm also in health. As a politician, I've got Forum for African, Caribbean, and Asian Women in Politics. And that's one of the organizations. And we're having a conference as well as dinner and dance on the 24th of June. If you're on Facebook, you will see it, but it will go it will go a lot, and everyone will say, and I want you to be there. So come and listen to some of the women and men as they talk about their journey and how it has helped them to improve themselves and improve their community. For us to improve our community, we have to be part of it. And also, I'm a midwife, retired now, but I work with the young mothers. The young mothers, thank you. I work with the young mothers with babies under 1 year. And that is to support them, to help and guide them. Because you must be listening to the radio every time they're talking about there are no more midwives, no health visitors, no this and that. It's gone down. So what skill we've learned, we've got to use it. And I want to use it in my country to inspire them, to help them, to make sure that all the things, like they said, whatever you learn, don't die with it. Give it to someone. Because when you learn and you stand and you hold the ladder and you pull somebody up, and that person takes over, I tell you, you have more peace because you have really done something. Thank you.